Yeah. Yeah. What's up, people? Yeah, I'm feeling a bit enthusiastic today, you know? Feeling it, man. Feeling it. So, they're saying Badou Jack might take on Nathan Cleverly on Undercard. What do you reckon? That's for Cleverly's little title that he picked up. What title does Cleverly have? He has a let's see what it's all about. Let's stop running my mouth. Turn the party out. Make party people scream and share. Okay. Cleverly's got a WBA belt, actually. The WBA belt. The one that he took from, what's his name again? What's his name? Bremer. He took it from Bremer. Yeah, what happened to Bremer? Bremer just collapsed in the fight, man. He was doing okay as well. Injuries. Yeah, so that could be on the bill. Nathan Cleverly versus Badou Jack. Although Badou Jack is not rated by the WBA. I don't know how they're going to pull this one off. Badou Jack is ranked by the WBC, though, at number 4. But, you know how these things work. By next week, they'll sneak Badou in there somewhere. I'm not sure if Cleverly is doing mandatory or voluntary. I'm not sure on his status. But that's a good fight. It's not bad for the undercard. I think Badou Jack. Then again, I don't know, man. I don't know. Cleverly, he looked good against Fonfara. He did. He didn't look too bad against Bremer, actually. So you can't write Nathan off. I mean, I think he would shit his pants if he had to fight that mad Russian again. I think he'd be scared. I genuinely think he'd be scared. But yeah, he has a shot. Walter McCullough in the building. What's up, Walter, I should say. We got Mike 104. What's up? Big up. Yeah. The sun is blazing in London, man. The heat is nice. Man. So I thought I'd get it in. Yeah, a lot of people, obviously, it was to expected. They're rubbishing the fight. What's up, Ryan Goodwin? I understand why. But this is beyond just sports, isn't it? This really is sports and entertainment. It's just this is business. This is boxing, but this is where the business overshadows the boxing, I'm afraid. And it is what it is. I don't think it's the worst thing to happen to boxing because boxing's doing okay. Boxing is doing fine. Like Anthony Joshua is doing tremendous over here. He's doing tremendously well. Klitschko has been more popular than ever. Errol Spence done wonders when he came over here. Boxing's doing fine. It's doing okay as far as I'm concerned. James DeGale versus Badou Jack was an excellent fight. There's been more. I mean, I can't wait to see that Roman Gonzalez take on that nutter he was fighting there with a big ass car. That guy punched fucking hard, man. He hit hard. I can't wait to see that. If I was Roman's manager, I wouldn't let him take the guy on straight away. I wouldn't let him take that guy on. And I think that card is going to be serious. It's got, is it Rongbasai against Gonzalez? And I think it's going to have, I think Anui is on there taking on Quadras, I believe so. Is it? And who is Estrada? Oh, man. I can't remember the fights, man. I wish I know to and clear it up in a second. But it's going to be a star-studded lineup, man, and they're all going to be there. So can't be mad at that, man. Boxing's doing okay, man. This isn't gonna, like, don't listen to the sensational headlines, man. Remember they saying, "Oh, I'm going to destroy boxing." Well, is that how? How? I mean, they just kept saying it, but how? No one's going to destroy boxing. Nobody. Yeah, and no one's going to be bigger than the sport. Floyd Mayweather, nobody. Not Ali, no one. No one's going to ever be bigger than the sport. No one. Yeah. So, what do we know about Conor McGregor? Conor McGregor, you know, they say he was a promising boxer at one time. He walked into a boxing club in Dublin at the age of 12. His first trainer spoke to Boxing News about what McGregor was like in those developmental stages. His name is Phil Sutcliffe. Okay. He was just like any other kid who walked into the gym wanting to join a boxing club. He had to get his parents' permission first. He trained very hard. He was one of those kids you never had to shout at. He was very focused. He wanted to be a good boxer, and he was getting good. He was progressing well. He won a few novice titles. He won the Dublin Novice Championships at age 16 and boxed on plenty of shows to learn his trade. But he became a junior. He found another love and packed it in. He started doing grappling and wrestling and mixed martial arts. A lot of kids took to it. I wouldn't say it's as tough as boxing. It's more animalistic when you're on the ground. He started moving towards it when he was 15 or 16, and he was telling me he couldn't come to the gym on certain nights because he was doing grappling or wrestling. I wasn't very impressed because I didn't like the sport. I thought it was very barbaric when you're allowed to hit someone on the ground with your elbows and your knees like a street fight. He says Conor's been able to take it to a new level, and he has the style which gets people following him, especially in Ireland, but around the world as well. Sutcliffe admits that McGregor never stood out amongst all the other young, wiry young lads toiling away in the gym all those years ago. He remembers how hard working he was, but he didn't stand out. Okay. Well, let's see. I mean, you'd at least, like, for this to be a competitive fight, you'd at least have to hear that, you know, he'd done something that the other kids couldn't do. Not that you wouldn't have to be miles ahead of them, but at least be one of the top guys in the gym. He also recognizes that many of the tools McGregor has used to defeat opponents in the UFC were picked up in his gym. Okay. Okay. He was also very dedicated. He tried to practice. He worked on his uppercuts, his long right hand. He's able to switch stance. We teach all our kids to switch, he said. We saw how he knocked out, is it Aldo? The shot over the top, the perfect punch, perfect timing. That's a crumbling punch. That's the area and the name of the gym that Conor McGregor grew up in. Most of the things that are bringing him along are crumbling punches, he says. Really. His stand-up boxing, his elusiveness, his timing, and how he's able to read his opponent. He's been taught that since he was a kid. We teach that here. The stance, the timing, the reading. He was elusive. His elusiveness was extra special. Of course, it's one thing to do well as an amateur. It's only another entire thing to step in the ring with it, arguably the greatest boxer of his generation. Then again, McGregor's never been lacking in self-belief. He was always confident. He was never afraid. All right. Okay. Oh, who's this now? Oh, John Scully, I didn't expect it. Okay. The Mayweather mismatch should not be allowed to tarnish boxing's history. You see, this is what... Look, you can't tarnish boxing's history. Because if you want to go back really, like, the only way you could tarnish boxing's history is if, for the most part, it was a fair sport from its inception, from the Queensberry rules. Listen, you can ask Colleen Elcourt, right? A white lady, very nice white lady, a boxing historian, a genuine boxing historian, she will tell you, right, that black fighters in America couldn't start punching until the fight was nearly over. They'd have to give up at least over half the fight before they could start punching, right? Joe Gans is one of the greatest fighters ever. That's acknowledged. But how many of his fights are fixed? A whole load of his fights are fixed because that's just what it was like then, right? We had a couple of errors. The colored heavyweight championship, they wasn't allowed to get no shots, right? And then in between that, you had the mafia running boxing, And that was really messed up. Really messed up. A lot of the fights were fixed. How load of the fights were fixed? Right? Jake LaMotta testified. Right? In the Keith Over trial. He testified against the Mo. Then you had the Black Murderers Road dudes around the same time. They didn't get no shot. They didn't get any shot. Right? So when you say tarnishing the history, they're going too far. You can't. But look, boxing is a great sport. There's lots of things that are great but are flawed. Just accept that. Boxing is a great sport, but it is flawed. If you go through the history of it, it's deeply flawed. I mean, at least we're getting a black guy and a white guy able to fight on even terms. Well, not on even terms, but at least, you know, one's not having to, you know, give up half the rounds. One freely went into the contract. They had the battle royals back in the day. What was that fair when they blindfolded them little kids and let them punch the crap, black kids, let them punch the crap out of each other? You know, they're going too far. They're going too far. They're going too far. It's not going to tarnish the image of boxing. Yeah, let me tell you what tarnishes the image of boxing. Right, when the fucking American government, right, allowed Joe Louis, right, to pay all his purses into their war effort and then put him in fucking debt after. That's what tarnishes boxing. To me, anyway, that tarnishes boxing. That tarnishes boxing. So I don't agree with that. They're going too far. They're going over the top, man. They're going over the top. Rob Gotti says Davis and AJ want to be on the undercard too. Yeah, AJ wants to be on the undercard. AJ cannot fight on an undercard though. AJ can't be an undercard fighter. Because when you, by yourself, to a degree, can do 1.2 million, not by himself, but when you can do 1.2 and take 20 million in, you know what I mean, like salary for yourself, then you are beyond the undercard fight. You can't fight on the undercard no more. I don't see how that works. I mean, is Floyd going to break him off all that money on the under? No. So I don't see that happening. He'd like to be on it, and I can see why he'd like to be. It'd be great for him and Klitschko to be on that. That would be fun. Oh God, you know, it would be. I tell you what would be nice is if, you know, we get this fight. Yes, we know what it's about. It's a blatant money making thing, which it still isn't robbing no one. You know, like no one is being forced to buy it, but we get a really good undercard. Like Cleverly and Jack would be good. Gervonta Davis would be good. You know, that would be really good. Mr. Mob, they should have put Broner and Garcia on the undercard. Oh, that would be nice. Yeah. That would have been good. That would have been good. DLO Cowboys, it says TBE. Yeah, well, I think he's one of the greatest. I wouldn't say the. Not the. There's too many past greats for, you know, him to eat that up by himself. You know, but he's definitely one of the greatest. You know, and yeah, you know, like put on a nice undercard. A nice undercard would be good. Nice undercard, and you know, people are still gonna moan. They're still gonna and like, look, it's not for one of the sanctioning belts, as far as I know, which is good. It's not for one of the sanctioning belts. Who's Peter Flanagan? I mean Terry Flanagan. Oh, right. Okay. I think it's somebody who was fighting for. It's not funny actually, but I read it out totally wrong. It says Peter Flanagan versus Dementia Pugilistica. So I was thinking, for some reason, I was thinking Flanagan, maybe Terry Flanagan, but no, it's just an ordinary guy, and he's fighting Dementia. I was thinking Dementia Pugilistica with a boxer for a minute. Like, no, that's not right. All right, I might as well read this story down here. Peter Flanagan is a former pro super lightweight and welterweight who fought out of Nat Basso's gym in Manchester in the 1980s. He was diagnosed with dementia pugilistica 2.5 months ago, but the inspirational 60-year-old is not going to let his condition keep him down. Since being diagnosed with dementia pugilistica, he said he's had to give up his driving license. Oh, that sucks. That does suck. And I can't see that he can't see himself working. He said the diagnosis was obviously a negative, so he thought to himself, I'm going to try and make something positive out of this. So he's aiming to raise money for the awareness and prevention of dementia. In order to shine a light on the disease, he has signed up to do a grueling charity hike along the Great Wall of China on October the 22nd, with proceeds going to the Alzheimer's Society. Yeah, wow. Well, yeah. He also played for Manchester United in his youth, you know, and he was forced to retire from boxing due to injury in 1985, but he's still in shape. He said he suffered a detached retina in his last fight against Mickey Bird. He had a 7-hour operation at Manchester Royal Eye Hospital. The surgery repaired my peripheral vision, but left me short-sighted. Wow. Well, let's wish him good luck on that, man. I wish him good luck. I tell you what, man, them fucking retina injuries are dangerous, man. Don't mess with them retina, boy. Nah. Can't joke around with that, man. Like, people can say what they want, man, about Brooke. Brooke did the right thing, man. Brooke did that's your eyes, bro. That's your eyes. That's your eyes. Brooke could have went, like, I know it sounds a bit wimpy, but he could have went blind in there, but he could have went blind in there, man. He could have went blind. That's the truth. Okay. Mike 104. More recently, failing PED tests tarnished boxing. Not some exhibition. Yeah. Right now, great point. All the PEDs in the sport, that's tarnishing boxing. That's tarnishing boxing. Exactly. Great point, Mike 104. Great point. Great point. DLO, he says, Beats, why the media at first was like, no, we don't want this now. It's all they're talking about. Because they can't help themselves, bro. Right? They can say, that, yeah, this is almost buried the Ward and Kovalev fight. And it's doing a similar job on Golovkin and Canelo, you know? And it's like Manny Pacquiao's fight with whatever his name. All them fights are buried. Manny Pacquiao finished them. Manny Pacquiao right now is, in my opinion, he's at a watershed moment where he has to think what he's doing with his career, because you don't want Thurman, you don't want Spence, you don't want Crawford. That's fair enough, right? That's fair enough. Right? When you do things like that, that means you consider yourself as a celebrity boxer who, no, I don't need to take contenders. I don't need to do that. I don't know. You need to adhere to the rules. Well, prove it then. Where's your $100 million fights like Mayweather McGregor? Where are they? Because there's none there. There's none there. Yeah? Prove it. And if he sticks around, I think he's going to hurt his reputation a little. Just boxing, you know, also, you know, just what's the point, really? What's the point? What's the point? It probably may not hurt his reputation, but it's not the most dignified way to finish, man. You know, begging for the Floyd fight. When Floyd's not going to give Pacquiao the Floyd fight after he wouldn't admit that Floyd won legitimately, he made all the excuses. I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening, you know? Ron Goodwin, he says, what's up with the old channel? Oh, they put a strike on that one, so I can't do hangouts on that, man. I can't do hangouts on that. You know? Mr. Bobby says, Triple G, Canelo fighting welterweights is tarnishing boxing. Yeah, exactly. You know, like there's other things, man, that they can throw the book at concerning destroying boxing. There's lots of other things. Well, he's going to go on his record, but it's an exhibition fight. Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. You know. And then who else? Who else? Yeah, Gervonta Davis could be on the card. Could be on the card. Yeah, Mr. Bob said Triple G and Canelo fighting welterweights is tarnishing boxing. Yeah. You know, so Unfortunately, I heard yeah, Deontay Wilder was on the old fucking marijuana. Catch him get busted with weed. Yeah, I do. Get weed in the car. That's how that goes, man. That's how that goes. A lot of people are going to jump on that. And listen. I mean, I'm not going to say they shouldn't, because you're not supposed to be taking that. It's not legit. It's not legitimized in the sport. So people are going to go over the top. I think some people are going to go over the top, but yo, no one told him to do it, and you know what I mean, he did it on his own back. And like, people can say that, well, it wasn't his. Well, you got to watch who you're hanging around with. Who are you giving your cars to? Who are you letting drive your cars? Who you got in your circle? You know, you got to clean all that up. You got to clean all that up, man. So unfortunate for Deontay, but that's the way that goes. That's the way that goes, man. Billy Joe Saunders. I heard Billy Joe Saunders is ducking Triple G. Not Triple G. He's ducking Daniel Jacobs, man. You don't want no part of it. Frank Warren said it's very unlikely to happen. Billy Joe Saunders, he replied to the tweet from Daniel Jacobs. Yeah, it'd be a good fight. I'll tell you what, man. Them guys, right? He called out Golovkin when he knew what Golovkin was going to do, and he knew Golovkin was signing to fight Canelo. Then he called him out. And this kind of ducking, I have a problem with. Not I have a problem with it, but I differentiate it from, like, some people call it ducking, that, you know, Floyd would probably fight Pacquiao rather than Keith Thurman. But to me, you know, I don't see that as ducking. That's just a financial decision. If Billy Joe Saunders had a more lucrative, a financially lucrative, better fight out there than Jacobs, then I'd have no problem. But there's no other big fights for the guy. What other big fights are there out there for him? He's not fighting you back in a rematch. So I want to know, what good reason is there not for Billy Joe Saunders to fight Daniel Jacobs? What good reason? And he could actually be fighting on the undercard of Canelo versus Golovkin. So that don't make sense to me. And his career is spiraling, you know, in a place where he doesn't want it to go. So I'm going to close out soon. Opponent of a seriously injured Daniel Franco. Yeah, this boxer Daniel Franco has had one surgery to stop 2 brain bleeds. Yeah, his opponent Jose Haro has issued a brief statement regarding the status of his fallen opponent. Daniel Franco, for his promotional representative, Whitfield Hayden, Haro says, I respect all fighters. My heart hurts knowing that my opponent from Saturday night is still in the hospital. I hope he has a full and speedy recovery. Nothing but love, brother. We put everything on the line when we step inside the ring. I always tell my brother, the trainer, that I'm a father first, fighter second. If he ever sees me badly hurt, to stop the fight, because my kids need their daddy. I'm very grateful that I won, but it really doesn't feel like I won. I always pray that my opponent and myself come out of our fights in good health. Let's go at Team Franco. You got this. Oof. That's hard, man. 2 brain bleeds, man. 2 brain bleeds. I wonder how old he is. Man. Just a kid. Just a flipping kid. Just a kid. Let's put his name in there. It's hardcore, man. Defense, my friend. Defense. Like, you know, you got to keep banging on about having defense, man. You need defense. You need good defense in boxing. You don't know. You never know, man. You never know when it's time. I mean, he's only 26. 25. 26 in December. A kid. Well, we wish him the best. That's all we can say from that. Mr. Mob, he says, I love that Al Heyman and Floyd are putting their fight right before Triple G and Canelo. Oscar is somewhere crying right now in his high heels. Yes, he crying like a bitch. Cole Farrell, he says, Oscar moaning is quite funny. Floyd's done it just to take the spotlight. Canelo, of course, yeah, this is chess, not checkers, you know what I mean? It's chess, not checkers. And that's why Oscar's hitting out at it so hard. This is all he can do to salvage any punters out there, you know. But I guess he'll have the Mexicans. He'll have the Mexican support base, or wherever he can salvage, you know. But it's definitely done a lot of damage to their promotion. There's no doubt about that. No doubt about that. But all right, people, it's good to talk, good to get it in. You know what I mean, this ain't my, you know, I prefer the other channel, but you know, this one left to do. So I just thought I'd pass it quickly, see how everyone was doing. I'll catch you on the later.